And we are live. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Holy Crap, the Vlogcast. Vlogcast that comes from a skeptical point of view to answer some of the questions of why. Vlogcast started as a combination of spite and the Streisand effect because as much as we bitch about healthcare in other areas where, maybe it's socialized medicine, every once in a while there are some really good pieces that happen, even though they might be emergencies. But of course, I have no idea what it is that I'm talking about. That would be wrong. Maybe I'll explain a little bit later. Let's just say that we're just very glad that one of our family, shall we say, is doing okay tonight. And part of this is follow through with the old adage that sometimes the journey is more important than the destination. I'm your main host. I'm known as Shujin Tribble. Find me pretty much everywhere under that name. That's Shujin. And if it sounds like I'm a little mumble mouth tonight, yeah, apparently so. I don't know why, it just is. No, I did not have any alcohol tonight. I also didn't have any barbecue tonight. There's a story in that, but the short version of it is I didn't get the dinner that I was hoping for tonight because the place was closed last week and this week, so thanks, guys, but that's okay. At the moment, my only co-host, joining me from the Midwest of the U.S., Brigid Fitch, who does have a first and a last name, and nothing is spelled out in a jingle. Hi.
Hi, I guess we need to come up with a jingle.
Ooh. Well, funny enough, I was talking with my son tonight because if you take a look at the general chat over on the Discord channel for us over there on the HCTV, you will see that there is a picture of eggnog ice cream. I took a picture of it so that I could send it to my son because we have this long-running thing about when can we get eggnog stuff? When the product goes out on the shelves? No, we wait until after Thanksgiving. But it's on the shelf. We wait until it's after Thanksgiving. Okay. So eggnog ice cream is already out on the store shelves tonight, so I took a picture and I sent it to him. And he had a good laugh at my expense. One of the things that I spoke to him about, and I didn't get the chance to tell Brigid about this, is that he's now been termed a radio station hobo over there at the school. So he's hanging out over there quite a bit. And he said that he wants to make a couple of new IDs or bumpers for them over there because he wants to try. And now that you said that, well, maybe we need a jingle for you, maybe I could ask him. Maybe, I don't know. We'll come up with. Maybe we'll go over to Fiverr and see if anybody wants to do that for us. I doubt it, but I mean, you never know. So there you go. You might get them wordalized on sound. How's that?
That'd be cool.
Fair enough. So hi, good evening, everybody. It's good to be back with you. We're doing okay tonight. Weather-wise, over here in the Buffalo market, yes, we did get the hot heat this week, and then it's cooled down significantly. It was all right. Now I'm trying to remember what the conversion was. It hit 90 degrees freedom at one point during the afternoon, as read on a rather cheap plastic round thermometer, that you'd otherwise put up on a wall in the shade. I then decided that I would put it in the sunlight just to see what happens. Reminding you, cheap plastic with a white face with black numbers on it. I finally decided that, okay, it had had enough when it read 135 degrees freedom. And if that's what it was like being out there in the sun, I'm very glad to stay in the shade until customers come and then go into the sun and then get the hell out of it again. What does that
Ugh.
convert to in real temperature units? Hot. But then today it's a nice chilly 55 Fahrenheit, which means it's go to sleep temperature. So, whatever. So it is what it is. So, hi. How's by you? Any tornado seasons for you?
I get lots of pollen. Pollen is insane.
which
And I
seems
have
sort of,
allergies. Yeah.
yeah, that seems like the wrong time of the year for you, but I mean, the hell do I know?
Yeah, the weather's been really screwed up for a while.
Brilliant. Anyway, now that we got that out of the way, hi, good evening. It's good to be back with you. If you'd like to be chatting up with us, of course, you've always got the option of joining us over on YouTube as we record, reminding you that we record at 12:05 a.m. Eastern U.S. Canada time, which is alternatively 04:05 or 05:05 UTC, depending on when the government decides they want to move the clocks for no good reason. I'm not looking forward to that, but that's a whole lot. If you do decide to join us, you can be over there in the live chat because, well, it's kind of the way that it works. Stephanie is over there. Surprisingly, I'm not going to discuss, I'm just going to say it's good to be able to have you with us. Welcome back. Seeger, you made it. That's okay. You chomp up as soon as you're ready. And Felis, good to see you over there. Brigid, I don't know if you're reading the chat, but Felis did specifically give a call out and a hi for you too. So there you go.
Oh, hi. No, I'm not looking at chat, but that's sweet. Thank you.
As swishy is. So it's good to be back with you guys. Yeah, it's been a weird couple of days for various different reasons. And yeah, like I said, temperature wise for me working outdoors, oof, middle of the week, not really happy being out in the sun. I mean, don't get me wrong, when there's shade and the sun is not beating down on my face the whole time, that's cool. Forgive the pun. I've been wearing sunglasses, which I almost never do, because, well, the reflection of the sunlight when it's bright, sunny dayball nuclear furnace out there has been difficult. But now that the sun is going lower in the sky and the door that I walk out of has a south face to it, you can probably imagine that sun's going to be on my face more, and I'm not looking forward to that. At least for now. We'll see. Come the winter, that's going to prove to be interesting, though. Yeah, just a little bit of heat as I walk out there into 0 degrees Celsius or lower. Probably lower.
Eek.
Because remember, Buffalo, winter driving conditions. Like effect snow. Yeah, I'll keep you all apprised of that, and maybe I'll have some pictures for you guys sometime soon. Just not today. Very much not today. Anyway, yeah, I will. You know what? Give me 5 seconds to turn off the microphone because I did not tell Brigid what was going on. So I'm literally going to turn off the microphone for 5 seconds to you guys out there on the stream and on the recording. I'm sorry, I know, 5 seconds of dead air. The hell was he thinking? Just give me a real quickie on this one. So here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh,
So I'm back on. There we go. Gave quick update, and there we go. You all don't need to know what it is. Is what it is, and like I said, Stephanie, like I said, we're just glad that you're back, right?
yeah.
So we'll go with that. Anywho, let me go ahead and get things started because we got we're gonna have a little bit of fun. I say that very loosely because there's only a little bit that's fun about this. It'll be what it'll be. So get started with 5 minutes on the clock. 5-minute freestyle starts right now. The topic tonight is foresight, and Felix kind of knows a little bit about why I would have chosen this, although I'm not going to be talking about that in particular. The human species is really weird in a lot of different ways, not the least of which is because we're pattern-seeking, well, creatures. I don't have any other better way of putting it. It's exactly what we are. We go looking for things because we just do. And it's an unconscious thing. We don't even think about it. Kind of the same way that we learn to read whatever language. And yeah, I know we can learn to read many different languages, and sometimes they don't even have to be quote unquote languages the way that we would really think of them. I mean, things like hieroglyphics, they're not words the same way that we would think of them. They're pictographs, but they have representation. And for those of us that read things like English lettering or even Greek lettering, Hebrew lettering, whatever it is that you grow up with or you have the most use with, it's just an unconscious thing. You can't accidentally not read something that comes across your face. It's just ingrained because you've done it so much. You might call it muscle memory, except it's not muscle. Unless you think of the brain as a muscle, because, well, kinda. But we look for patterns without even realizing it, because it is evolutionarily a good thing. There is the old adage that's been used that, if you run away from something that looks like it could be a predator, but it isn't, well, what have you lost? Well, really nothing. But if you run away from a predator that is actually there that you see, well, then you get to run away from the predator and still live. Versus, oh, I think I recognize that. That's a predator. Sure, I can keep going on. Oh, look, I'm dead. Yeah, it's a evolutionary trait that works because it's good for safety. Now, looking forward onto various things, it extends beyond just the actual visual approach with things. Yeah, we can see patterns in how the world works around us and how things are behaving. But we also, quote unquote, see these things sociologically. We see how people act, how they operate, how groups act and operate, how long-term societies look and operate. And we start to see the patterns, and we recognize what are otherwise considered the hallmarks of how things have progressed over time. As an example, we know that, as an example, that if you have someone who tries to overthrow a government and is caught and is convicted and is jailed and then gets out of jail and then has become a martyr to others and stokes up other people to join him because he's been wronged, or so he says, and it's entirely possible for someone to retake over the government that they failed at overthrowing the first time. Totally hypothetical situation. So if we see this very same type of pattern beginning to emerge, well, we can start to draw conclusions as to, well, this doesn't happen often. It's happened once that maybe we can think of in relatively recent history. But do we really want to allow that to have happen again? How far along can we allow that pattern to progress before we put the kibosh on that? Well, that's a really good question. How far along can you? How far along can you wait before you have to commit one way or the other? That's not an easy line to find. But I'm pretty sure that line should start at, are you convicted for the crime of trying to take over the government in the first place? I think the answer on that should be yes. And if they die while they're in prison, I'm going to bring back something I've said before. Cremate the remains and inter them until their multi-century conviction is over, and then release the body. It seems only fair to me. But then, don't take legal advice from a podcast. Can you tell that I'm not really happy that some people don't take that idea seriously, Bridge? I mean, it's one thing to go ahead and kind of joke about that and mention it some months back, but now I kind of floated that out there again, and there are a couple of people who have actually said, "Ooh, that might actually be a good idea." I like that. I like that. I think part of it is that I just like people agreeing with me. So, I mean, you're allowed to talk now. The thing is over. I'm actually
Thing is
floating
over.
the question.
Okay.
I'm actually floating the question to you. I mean, I know we talked about it, a long time ago now at this point, but and the question of the legality and the morality and the ethics about it was kind of, I don't know, man. But again, I don't know if it's such a bad idea considering.
Well, I mean, it would hurt the family.
Well,
Wouldn't hurt him because he's dead. He wouldn't know.
yeah, but I mean, well, if
I
Mary,
would say take the ashes and just flush them.
um, no, no, because then that allows the body to escape before the time of conviction is over. But that's just me. That's technicality, r/technically correct.
I just think that it's a fitting end for somebody who is so obsessed with toilets.
You got a point. But you got a point.
Just make sure that somebody shits first and then dump them.
Or take his ashes, put it under a compression, and turn it into the crappiest fake diamond. How appropriate, wouldn't you think, there? I mean,
Only if it has a lot of flaws in it. It could not be a good diamond.
I think that's kind of the point. Yeah, we'll see how this goes out. Yeah, I was just checking on the chat because there's stuff. Where are we? Timing wise, I think we're doing pretty okay. How about we get over to the horrible scopes, because it's time to get on over to the horrible scopes. So let's do that. Those of you that know what your astrological sign is, cool. Those of you that don't really care. It doesn't matter. Roll a d12 to try and figure out which one it is. And if you need a d12 with, all the little symbols and whatnot on it, take a swing over. Well, you can do it over on Facebook to Heart of the Game Fredonia, because they were nice. I asked, could we mention you guys? Because we needed somebody to mention, not for money or nothing, just to mention them. And they're like, sure. So remember, Heart of the Game Fredonia, home of the Blue Devils, so hail Fredonia. Continue the spooky month theme for you all. I've generated a random list of horror movie titles, and I'm going to make up new plot lines for each one of them, because I'm not a horror movie guy. I don't know anything about these horror movies, for the most part. Really, for the most part. So if you already know what these movies are and what their plots actually are, just know that I am not sorry in the least. Just gonna have to put up with it and just deal. And trust me, it's gonna be a lot easier to pronounce this stuff than it was last week with the phobias. Moidon. Here we go. Aries, in your movie titled Ginger Snaps, you find yourself in the Upper West Side of Manhattan, New York in the mid-1950s. Two groups of young men with slicked back hair are approaching you. They're all redheads. Suddenly, music by Leonard Bernstein sings out of a window adorned with the Puerto Rican flag. Can you sing and dance your way out of this rumble in the concrete jungle?
Taurus. The year is 1986, and you find yourself in a musical recording studio. You're the engineer working on the album Four by Huey Lewis and the News. The band members are isolated in rooms when an overhead water line breaks, spilling over high voltage circuits for the building. Can you escape without being electrocuted? Can you get the band out too? Find out at the end of the 93-minute feature, Jacob's Ladder.
Gemini, your movie is basically just being John Malkovich, but it's set in the early 80s with a new musical soundtrack. Can you pilot a John Malkovich biomech suit while listening to ska music in the musical thriller feature release In the Mouth of Madness? Let's watch it at the drive-in and find out.
Cancer Moonchild. You and your friends have driven out to an old wooden shack in the house of the middle of nowhere, Tennessee. Trees surrounding you whisper in the breeze. Dead leaves keep splattering against the door and windows. There's an old creepy book with a face on it and a trapdoor to the cellar, chained and padlocked shut. Suddenly, everything goes quiet. Deep footsteps can be heard on the wooden porch just before a shotgun blast tears off the lock. As the door opens, the silhouette of the most glorious chin in the world is revealed. Can you overcome cabin fever? Opening Halloween weekend.
Starring Bruce the Chin Campbell. I'm sorry, I just had way too much fun with that one in particular because I got the title and it just the whole picture of it all just came to me in just one flash. And I love that one. Leo, you find yourself crouched behind a wooden crate in a blocky world with footsteps around you. You're wearing dark military gear with a matching headband. A muted green glow on your wrist tells you what you're needed to do. Sneak into this facility, find some highly secretive intel, and bug out before you're spotted. Will you avoid all the patrols and CCTV cameras in the world of Whisper?
Virgo. This is more of an art piece than a horror movie. Think Saw, but with the snobbiest wine taster you've ever known. Duct taped onto a chair, ankles to neck to wrists, and have them watching horror as their glass of wine sits on a table out of reach, about to have the most vile desecration done to it, because suspended over it on a string is a brick of ice, moments away from dropping into it. Welcome to the Cube.
When we went through this one last night, Dalan was very much just, oh, that's evil. That's evil. I was very proud of that one. Libra, she's out there. You know she is, but you can't know where. Flitting from tree to tree, mocking you, daring you to find her. Imitating people's voices that almost sound like people you knew. Even making comforting sounds to distract you. Your only weapon of defense? A pocket full of corn kernels and raisins. Welcome to the terror of the Crow.
Scorpio. A first person view coming of age story. You're terrified, looking back and forth wildly. You know where you are. You've seen all these landmarks before when your mom drove you to the bowling alley with her for league days. But now you're on your own. Your heavy 5-speed bike under you as you look for the right road to get there. Or will you chicken out and try to find your own way home? Can you find your way without a map before your classmates find you? How will you survive a nightmare on Elm Street?
Don't give me crap about that one. Sagittarius, it's April. You've put off all the math until the last minute, thinking you'll be able to get everything done in time. But midnight is fast approaching, and you don't know where your tax deduction box is. You need to make it through Friday the 13th. Released direct to video because no movie theaters would screen it.
Capricorn. Poor fifth graders trying to grow up to be the top dogs of the school. They thought it'd be easy, but they thought wrong. They're outnumbered 10 to 1 with littler students who intend to make their last week of classes hell on earth. Welcome to the next chapter in The Frighteners.
Aquarius, join us in a mild-mannered office with a mild-mannered man doing a mild-mannered job. Meet Carl, lead animator on one of the most popular children's Saturday morning cartoon series of 1969. But he's trying to hide secrets from his quality checker. Smeared motions, missing facial features, wrong character placements from wide to close shots. Will he get paid this week or lose his job? Follow Carl's terror as he is haunted by Hanna-Barbera.
Pisces. You were paid last month, but something's wrong. Running out of time for your monthly auto payments. The New Year's party time was great, but now you're literally surviving, paying it off with your life. Welcome to March as you try to survive 28 days later.
Hoping some of these landed with some folks because I actually had a lot of fun this time. Those are your horrible scopes for this week. Remember, if you enjoyed them, please let me know, please. Because, vanity's all that I run on other than coffee, which I really shouldn't have had coffee. I really don't want to be staying up until 4 in the morning again today, but, it'll be what it'll be. I'll have these posted at the end of the week as usual. Tumblr, Twitter, Facebook, Discord, Blue Sky. I'm on Blue Sky now, Force, HCTV, holycraptv.bluesky.app. What it is. Kind of the same way. If you take it from Twitter, or whatever the hell they want to call it now, it's just the same account name because I tried to put in holycrapthevlogcast.bluesky and they're like, no, that's too long. Okay, guys, thanks. Appreciate that. It's fine. So, Holy Crap TV, same as what it is. All good. It's episode 469 on the docket, Your Honor. Welcome to the clown show. Forgive me, but just holy crap. This week, wow. The political landscape over here in the United States, for anybody that's been paying any attention whatsoever to it, has been a veritable landmine of just wow. In our lifetimes, I don't think that we've had anything like this, even close to like this happening. So, yeah, we're gonna kind of wrap up some of the stuff because reminding you, it's only a 2-hour show at tops, and why some of this could have been prevented, if people had actually gotten out there and voted. Thank you very much, or more appropriately, voted with some semblance of knowledge behind them. So let's do that. Before we got started on tonight's show, Brigid and I were basically talking about some of the items that were part of this clown car of this weekend. Holy balls! Where to even start, right?
I'll start with the recall of the speaker.
Oh God!
And how this is unprecedented.
Yeah, man. Okay, so the Speaker of the House is supposed to basically be the Senate wrangler of Congress critters, for lack of a better way of putting it. And I'm totally blowing the explanation of it, but they're supposed to have a position of authority of basically being the ringleader if you will, for the circus that is Congress. Uh, um, so let's rewind you just a little bit. It took Kevin McCarthy. Yes, we're going to name you by name, Kevin, because, oh my God, they killed Kevin, sort of. It took him how many go rounds in order to get the position of Speaker in the first place?
15.
15 times to query the rest of the Republican caucus, while the vast, and by vast I mean like 99% of the Democratic caucus, are over there just kind of kicking back, kicking up their heels, putting their hands behind their heads, and just go ahead, do whatever it is you can do. When you find out who it is that you want, we'll finally join you. Just figure out who it is, and we'll join you. What did he have to do in order to finally get that selection? Because there were a number of people who were basically like trying to nominate themselves, I think, from the hubris contingent of Congress at that point. Wasn't he promising like everybody like a newborn puppy or something just to get their votes? I forget what he was really doing, but my God, he just gave away the barn in order to have the job.
Yep. And one of his silly concessions was making it to where one person could call for a vacation or vacating the house.
Yep.
Who does that? That was really stupid.
Remember how he opened with the idea of forethought? Nice job there, guys. It was beautiful. It was brilliant. Well done. So yeah, so Kevin McCarthy he gave away the house, if you'll pardon the expression, just so that he could finally have the job, because the GQP group, and I don't use that term lightly, they were all basically trying to nominate themselves individually, which did not make matters any much better, because hitching your wagon to a sinking ship just always goes well, doesn't it? Don't know what to tell you, man. Just don't know what to tell you. On the bright side, um, when they finally got their ducks partly in a row, or at least nominally enough, okay, let's start getting things done. Oh, right. Didn't the Speaker of the House then unilaterally, all on his own, shut up, leave me alone, all on his own, decide, let's open an impeachment hearing into the current president of the United States of America?
Yep.
Now, if memory serves, that's not the way it's supposed to be done according to the regs, right?
There has to be something worth impeaching. You
And
can't go fishing looking for something.
exactly. So, on top of everything else, the Speaker, Mr. McCarthy, well done, guy. He went ahead and decided, yep, we're going to go ahead and we're gonna open an inquiry. But that's not how it's supposed to operate. So here's where the fun part of it is. If the Speaker opens up and says, we're going to start an impeachment inquiry, and personally directs it, well, as personally as you can do, by abusing the authority of being the Speaker, well, and then the Speaker loses his job, well, that means that the Speaker is no longer there, which then means that there can't be any inquiry left. So if there's no authority for doing an inquiry for an impeachment thing, which isn't supposed to have happened in the first place because it's just wrong, what happens?
Who knows?
That's good. That's yeah, that's really it. Because over here we're in uncharted water and all that because it's like, guys, what are you doing? And I don't know. This is what happens when the monkeys get to run the zoo, apparently. So nice job. I didn't double check who is currently the quote unquote speaker pro tem. Do we even know?
I just went blank.
Yeah, because I didn't even think about it. I mean, in the I don't know if all other governments have it, or at least all other governments should have it. Most legit governments would typically have a line of succession because for instance, here the president, something happens to the president, the vice president would take over, and then if the vice president something happens to the vice president at that point, it's the Speaker of the House moves up and takes over the job then. So I don't know who would be next in line. I don't know. Seeker is trying to help me out unilaterally. That's yeah. Thanks. I couldn't get it out of my face. I did not have any alcohol tonight, so don't give me shit. I'm going with. So yeah. I vaguely remember seeing some headline that went through as I was looking stuff really quickly. Something about the Speaker of the House pro tem was looking to oust Nancy Pelosi. I don't know, man. That sounds sketchy. That sounds really
Oh,
damn sketchy to me.
took away her office, and Steny Hoyer took away his too. And said, "No, we're going to change the locks." I mean, he was being really petty, but I cannot remember what his name was. But he was pissed. He tried to break the gavel.
Yeah. I mean, I know that we discussed the idea of having age limits, term limits, but man, physical age and physical term limits is one thing. Mental age limits might be something to really consider now. Because if this is what the high school tween action committee is all about, I don't know, man. They're like two classes away from going to study hall and pulling the fire alarm just to get out of it. Don't get, don't get it. Guy from North Carolina. Speaker saying, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that sounds right, but I can't remember his name.
Which doesn't bode well, but then again, knowing the name of the Speaker of the House isn't always a good thing. Um, Thinking about Mitch McConnell, for instance. Anyway, so let's kind of follow that one down just a little bit because we're not gonna discuss too far into it because, like I said, just the overview of the whole damn thing is funny enough. Let's bring into that because it fits squarely into this round hole. Donald John Trump has floated out there the idea I would love to be Speaker of the House for everybody. Now, reminding you, here in the US, you do not need to be a sitting Congress critter to be Speaker of the House. It helps, but there's nothing in the regs that say that you have to be. So theoretically, almost anybody could be selected to be. Well, there is a problem with that. You want to explain to folks the general overview of what the problem is with that, hun?
Sure, there's this thing called Rule 26. And Rule 26 says that if you are speaker and you're under indictment for a charge that could land you 2 years or longer in the pen,
A felony,
then a
specifically.
felony charge that could land you 2 years or more doing time that you cannot be speaker. You have to step aside.
Memory serves, he's currently looking at 300 plus possible years in conviction, I think.
It depends on how they count them, if they're concurrent or not. But
Yeah.
but with different, jurisdictions, he's looking at some serious time, especially if it's in each jurisdiction, because those cannot be concurrent.
Yeah, it's entirely possible. Ah, we have assistants. Stephanie and Seeger. Somebody owes somebody a Coke, apparently. Patrick McHenry. There's the name. So, the current Speaker Pro Tem, Patrick McHenry. Which, I mean, as far as names go, it's not a bad name. I don't know that that's necessarily a name I would want to be. Well, actually, come to think of it, I don't think there's any name with the letter R at the end of it that I would, and not just any R, but one of those curvy bracket kind of R's at the end of it that I would want to be. But only so much we can. But yeah, so Donald has decided he would really love to have that job. Darn. If memory serves, Brigid, wasn't it the Republicans that instituted a rule like that into the rule book? I'm pretty sure.
Yep. Yep.
Funny how that happens. So, you remember how I opened talking about pattern recognition and whatnot?
Hmm.
And you know how I just said that it was probably the Republicans that created that rule in the first place? You remember how it was not too very long ago that the Republicans went ahead and instituted this whole, well, we can't fill a SCOTUS seat this close to an election because we need the people to decide who the next president's going to be. And then completely reneged on that anyway.
Hmm.
So I could be wrong, and I sincerely hope that I am, but it is entirely within the scope of possibility because they've done it before that the Republicans could just, I believe the expression is, thumb their nose at the rules and try it anyway.
Yep. It's
So,
not like they haven't before, so.
exactly, exactly. And there are and I mean way, too many of them that still swear allegiance to the ring for whatever that's worth. I'm, I'm, I still don't understand that. There's got to be pictures of somebody with like fornicating with at a heavy petting zoo or something. You know what I'm talking about here? I'm trying
Yep.
very hard not to say what I'm thinking right about now, but I'm sure there's some of us thinking about it. I and truth be told, I don't get any of that. I really don't. The idea that these people are still holding allegiance to this son of a bitch. How? How is that even a thing? I don't get it. And truth be told, Bridget, I would be surprised if you have any clue whatsoever, other than, like I said, the possibility that maybe just maybe, there's heavy petting zoo stuff going on somewhere.
It's a cult.
Yeah, yeah, and I guess that's part of the problem. Just we don't we don't do that. Get that, and it's just it makes no sense to me. There is something that is really fun about this, though. Is you know what? I'll hold off on that a second because Seekers actually brought a very interesting question, and it's a completely fair question to ask, and this is going to kind of sideline where I was about to go. Why aren't a lot of them in jail yet? That's an excellent question, because this takes me down a different angle than I was going to go. Brigid, you are the one of us, one of the two of us, that has military experience. You know a little something about this. Not going to say that you know a lot. You know something about this. If the reporting is even close to accurate, that Orange Marmalade Trupolini had spoken classified tactical nuclear information to a foreign personality, who then disseminated said same information to a couple dozen other people, including people who are news media and people who are not military affiliated or have classified clearance. If somebody who was in the military had disseminated said information and were no longer active, what the hell would end up happening to them, the best of your knowledge?
Well, no, in my case, I would be thrown under Leavenworth. I'm not sure what all the different military custodial facilities are, but I know for the Air Force it would be Leavenworth.
I think that'd be a good start, at the very least, at the very minimum. But
I would say send those suckers to Gitmo.
it's a good possibility. You know, I'm wondering something, oddly enough. Is there anything in the law, and I'm posing this as a hypothetical only because I don't know the answer, and I don't expect that you would. Anything in the law that says that the Secret Service must continue to serve as bodyguard for a quote unquote retired president? I mean, it's done as a nicety, basically, and I get that, but it's possible for them to be told, "Nah, man, you go away," because that's what Jimmy Carter did. He went to being a civilian all over again. And he's just like, "No, I mean, don't need you guys. Go away." Do they have to continue to be bodyguards? Because I don't know. Have any idea?
I have no idea.
That would
I
be
would think they have to be unless given, unless they were turned down like Jimmy Carter did.
that would be really interesting
It would be
because,
a really horrible detail.
and that's why I'm kind of wondering if he's convicted of treason, even if he is not given the death penalty as he has advocated for on numerous occasions, which, if memory serves, the possibility of a death penalty conviction for treason, if I remember right, you basically corrected me and said, well, if it were a time of war, that would qualify. I don't know that if he got, for instance, the equivalent of life in prison for treason, I would think under legal terminology, he would no longer be a viable ex-president because he gave up the country. The exact terminology for treason. Oh,
I have no idea what that would look like.
yeah. And again, remember, don't take legal advice from a podcast. I know nothing. I know nothing on this one. I'm just kind of extrapolating because
I guess they could put him in solitary confinement and just have one or two agents do 8-hour shifts
Oh,
because he would still be a security risk.
wow. I guess if you ever wanted to find out if you were getting punished while working the Secret Service detachment, I guess you'd be able to find out really quickly if you've done a really shit job in your job otherwise. Get that detail. Would they have to? Oh, would they have to sit in the cell with him or outside the cell?
Probably outside.
And would they be obligated to save his life if he tried to commit suicide while inside that cell?
Probably.
Damn. Oh god. That's a lot of wondering right about there. And I know some people are probably going to be shoo, let's not talk about ending people's lives that way. That's bet it's a possibility. People have done it before, even in solitary. So, you know, there's going to be all kinds of weird. But the fact that he's floated the idea out there, I would love to be speaker. You know, that would be a bad idea on multiple ways. Because there is a piece about this that really bugs me. Remember what I said about the possibility of the order of succession?
Yep.
If something happens to the president, the vice president takes over that position. If something then happens to the vice president, the Speaker of the House assumes the mantle. I would not put it past these sycophants to go after the president and the vice president in order to instill their king.
I wouldn't either.
We've already had who was it? I forgot the name. The governor of Michigan, I think is who it was,
Hmm.
where they tried to kidnap. And it's not just that they were going through, discussing plans and whatnot. There was an actual physical attempt. Thank you very much.
Yep.
And, let's face it. Yes, it was. Oh God, how far back was that now? All right, let me go through the numbers here. Okay, so 23, 13, 03, 93, 83. Let's call it 40 years. Just a rounding error right about now, 40 years. Yes, it was 40 years ago, give or take. But the Secret Service couldn't protect Ronald Reagan from being shot. Admittedly, again, 40 years ago. But that's still relatively modern times. Possibility of a well-coordinated attack and the possibility of sleeper Secret Service agents. Oh, I mean, Commander. Uh, wait, who were the dogs? Commander and
Yeah, Commander and oh, I don't remember the name of the other one.
God. I want to say General. I don't remember Commander and whatever. The Biden dogs um have bitten a couple of Secret Service agents, as the reports have come out, and over here being the resident fur in the group, you know, kind of wonder, guys. Just I don't know. Kind of get the funny feeling that maybe, just maybe, there's something to that.
Dogs always know.
Yeah, admittedly, some dogs have just got bad tempers. We understand that. It happens. However, the likelihood is still very much of the yeah. I'm willing to take the side of the dogs more, but again, that's just me. That's just me. Backtracking just a little bit because I just realized really haven't been looking over at the chat on my window. The chat is over on this side, not on that side, and that's because the camera hasn't been flipped. I know about the left-right camera thing. Leave me alone. I'm still wondering how to fix it. Logitech, you pain in the butt. Anyway, talk about that later. Where is it over here? Stephanie had pointed out Gitmo is a perfect solution, Brigid. Again, both on board. The Seeker had also asked, anyone remember Trumpsky getting help reading classified documents at dinner by using their cell phone camera lights?
Yep.
I didn't. Oof. As the kids say today, that's big oof. Wow. That sucks right there. Trumpsky's Secret Service had connection with Proud Boys. Imagine that. Secret's also mentioning Mission Capital was overtaken twice by militias. Yeah, kind of forgot about that because they had help with somebody who just happened to go through a door that should have otherwise been locked and kind of pushed it open while folks were there and allowed them to walk in. Thanks, guys. And Seeker's also pointing out Iran satellite pictures. You know, more and more and more, this son of a bitch should be held. Not released on his own recognizance, just should be held. But that's just me. Again, don't take legal advice from a podcast. I, however, happen to be one of those people that is very much of the angry variety. So I think about how things probably would be better if they were done my way as opposed to, whatever legalese terms. That's just me. So we got that. We got all these other pieces. Let's kind of go back to the Speaker of the House thing again for a couple of seconds because there are a number of possibilities. Kevin McCarthy has also said, and then retracted, apparently, if the news reports are going to be believed, that he will retire from being a Congress critter before his term is over. So again, supposedly stated and then said otherwise, according to various news reports. It's entirely possible that he did want to do that and then got told otherwise. Or it's possible he was just misheard. The way things go right now, I would flip a coin to try to figure out which one is more accurate. That he was just misheard or he did say it and then recanted. Because I don't know. And then there was one name that was floated out there. Possibility for being Speaker House. One person who I think we can all collectively say should never have been elected to the position of being a Congress critter in the first place. And I know, that doesn't exactly narrow it down very well. Jim frickin' Jordan. Brigid, what kind of visceral reaction did you have when you had seen that as one of the possibilities floated around?
Wanted to punch him in the face.
I mean, I can't say that you're wrong, because I'm pretty sure a lot of us would.
He is such a disgusting piece of shit.
And reminding you, folks, that we think that he's probably lower than that because, at least with shit, it kept Mark Watney alive on Mars. And that's a movie reference that some of you folks better get, because if you don't, you need to look that one up. It was a good movie. Yeah. Um, I'm not exactly going to give him much in the line of breath at this point, other than just to agree. And if folks want to look up Jim Jordan's record, feel free to do so, because it's all out there, public record. I don't even have to. I don't even have to direct you over to Wikipedia, although it'd be a good place to start from, and use all of the links at the very bottom of the page to look up all the news articles about that sumbitch. That in mind, there were a number of voices that were screaming and yelling and wanting to be that, in being in that position. Um, if memory serves, one of the names that supposedly has the full voice and support from the soon to be convicted one, the one who is no longer allowed to operate a business in New York State. And by the way, for that one, thank you, Judge. Thank you. And I'm going to come back around to that one in just a minute, because that comes into the whole damn thing. You heard that Marjorie Three Toes has got all kinds of support behind her, right?
Does she?
Apparently so. I don't know why. I don't know why. Because she's just a freak. She's just a freak. And I don't say that in I don't say that in a James Brown kind of way. I don't say that in a Rick James kind of way. I say that in a very um, statistical anomaly kind of way, but biologically speaking, she's just freak in nature. That I don't know. She has kids already, doesn't she?
Yep.
Damn it. Oh well. Well, there's always hope. I mean, education can overcome many things. We hope. So yeah, there's that. Which means the GQP still have too damned many people in positions of authority, and by too damn many, I mean a non-zero number. Damned annoying. I don't even know that. But backtracking just a second from the oh my god, this is just too hilarious file right about now. Donald Trump, the Trump organization, the Trump family have basically had their entire ability of operating um, any legal entity business wise has been revoked. So the entire state of New York has collectively just said, no, you're not allowed to do business here, because, amongst other things, fraud. And this is where I get to go ahead and have one of my biggest smiles of the day. And Brigid, we didn't talk about this before we got started, but I'm really hoping you know about this particular eventuality. The the trial, the civil trial, about the possibility of Trump et al. Defrauding different groups for monetary gain, inflating and deflating the claimed values of various properties. The judge did not have a jury trial for this, because the lawyer waived that. they waived a jury trial. Now, the thing about this is, what makes this hysterical is that not only did that happen, not only did whoever this idiot lawyer is, and I say idiot lawyer because, come on, how many lawyers have been stiffed so far? Are you really? See, this is what Dalan talks about when he talks about how people get paid in exposure. Can't pay the bills with exposure. Rudy Giuliani's seen that, but that's a whole other thing. They had to intentionally check a box on the legal filing, waiving a jury trial. So, so now the poor guy is yelling and screaming and complaining that he doesn't have a jury to try to sway with his personality. Cult of, I should add on to the beginning of that. So, the judge basically went ahead and said, "Look, there's no need for there to be any real trial of any description. Here are the facts that show what was done. These are facts that are not in dispute. All right, conviction, guilty, done. Give me the wooden mallet thing. Boom, boom, done. That's just conviction in the East, I guess. So, Brigid, you heard about this one, I'm assuming, because I can't believe that you wouldn't have heard about that one.
What about what you just said?
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, right now, this trial is just to figure out the monetary damages. And so we're looking at the minimum $250 million, but could be three times that easily.
yep. Which means all of the Trump properties in New York State are basically forfeit. Is that the right word?
If he can't come up with money, yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm a little hard of hearing in these ears. Did you say if?
Yes, I said if, because I think his ass is broke. I don't think he has $250 million or however much it is that he is going to wind up having to come up with.
Yeah. I'm very much in agreement. Although the way things been going, I wouldn't put it past some government entity to float him the money. You know, in exchange for a favor to be completed, you know, sometime. I mean, he's given away information already. But that ends up being a really interesting question. What happens if some government floats him the money? It is entirely possible for the Saudis to. It's entirely possible for perhaps Jared to float out part of his $2 billion. Because, here you go, Dad, 250. No problem. I've still got, a lot of money that I could never spend in my lifetime. So here you go. Or perhaps use that money to buy out all of those properties from under his dad and leave him destitute on the streets, being driven around by Secret Service because that's all he's got. I wonder, would they allow him to live out of whatever car they drive him around in at that point? What? Oh my God. Would they be forced to have to drive him around, live out of his car if he was otherwise homeless, go through the drive-through in order to get him food once in a while? No, it's okay. Come on, you can spot me the money for number 4 combo. I'm laughing only because I'm really trying hard not to cry with how absurdly stupid that would be. I know. Again, take legal advice from a podcast. Somebody who doesn't know what the hell they're talking about, but the level of absurdity is just too possible in my own head. What were some of the other things? Seeker had also mentioned, what are the chances of Jack releasing Jim Jordan's name as an indictment anytime soon? That is a non-zero possibility there.
He needs to get on it.
Yeah. Yeah. It is entirely possible. It is entirely possible that he's waiting for Jim to no longer have the protection of being a sitting member of federal government. I could see that. I could see that. Because once no longer protected that way, extradition would be basically child's play, wouldn't you think? One would hope. Would hope. Let's
He
see.
keeps getting reelected in a gerrymandered district, so
Yeah,
can't count on the voters getting rid of him.
yeah, yeah. I get you. Get you. Let's see. Florida politician wants the county to tax Trump the high price he claimed instead of the low taxes Trumpsky filed. So tax fraud coming soon.
Yep, I'd be
Well,
good with that.
now see, the problem of it is that's Florida, which then means that it's under DeSantis, and I could very easily see him just, no, you're not. I'm not going to let you do that, and just overstepping whatever bounds he's got. Although I would really love to see him in his big, tall, white emergency boots go walking, just off into the sunset. And by the sunset, I mean anywhere other than in Florida. Just go away. That's me. On the bright side, nobody turned into a zombie during the emergency test. I not only did not turn into a zombie, I did not gain any of the superpowers I was hoping for. I was too far away from my phone when it happened. I was helping a customer. My phone was charger at the damn it. Did you get the 5G zapped, by the way, when that test came through?
I didn't get anything. I'm so disappointed.
Damn it. Whatever. You know what? Knowing my luck, I'd probably end up being Spider-Man, but I don't have the agility. I don't like heights, and knowing my luck, I'd probably end up having webs coming out of my butt, which at least would be biologically accurate, if not uncomfortable. I don't want to think about that anymore. I'm just really skeeving myself out right about now, and that's not a good place to be. So yeah, there's all. Um, I there's a hell of a lot more that could otherwise be going on right now as far as politics are concerned. But you know what? I think it's fair to just go ahead and say that that's good enough for just the moment. Unless something else comes up that, we're just like, oh yeah, by the way, let's just add that really quickly on top of this shit pile. How much of this would have been solved by voting Hillary Clinton.
All of it.
The thing of it is, that's not hyperbole by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, let's start off with the first and obvious one. If Hillary Clinton had been elected, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, that seat would have been taken care of. We presume. How many seats on SCOTUS? 3?
Yep. 3.
3. And the thing of it is, a Democratic Party member in the role of president would have tried to keep the court, presumably, tried to keep the court relatively stable and even. Because at that time, it was still considered to have some measure of, not exactly impartiality, but could be trusted to govern itself, so to speak, at that time. It hasn't been until the teeter-totter was broken that so much of the stuff finally came out. And the investigative journalism finally went ahead and said, yeah, by the way, there's this. Look what we found, because we've been digging and doing our job. Investigative journalists, whoever you are out there who are doing the grunt work, thank you. You are appreciated. So that would have been the first piece right there. Oh, God. Seekers by also asking, how about a game night for some laughs? Well, yeah, it has been an exceedingly long time. See about that sometime. There is going to be a buy night sometime very soon, because I'm going to have to be out of town. I don't remember which weekend it's going to be. I will make an announcement ahead of time. Don't worry about that. But man, can you imagine where we would have been if Hillary Clinton had been elected and we were able to get 3 progressive judges? Merrick Garland would have been one of them. Maybe not necessarily as progressive a personality as what we would have liked, but he definitely would have been somebody that we could have looked at and said, you know what? He seems to have a pretty even keel on how the law operates. And okay, he might be personally a little bit of a wet noodle, but seems to be a straight shooter. I think that would have worked. Where would we have been with SCOTUS? Would Hillary Clinton have tried, your opinion, do you think that she would have done the way that I had described? Try to keep the court relatively even, relatively stable? Or do you think that she would have pushed for having more progressives when the positions opened?
I don't know. I'm guessing she would actually be more moderate. I mean, she wasn't way far to the left.
Yeah, it's true.
Never has been.
True.
But she was right about everything that she said would happen.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing that's the thing that kills me. Lady was absolutely right. And we saw it in the what was that really tipped it? the debates. We saw it. The way he was just being a petulant child, talking over everybody, couldn't wait his own damn turn. Had to be the bully to the schoolyard. She was right. She was right about everything. And the people just sucked it up and just said, no, lady, bad. Estrogen in the White House, bad, because what was one of the arguments that somebody made? That woman could have a complete emotional meltdown, and all of a sudden we're in World War III. You remember? I'm paraphrasing highly on this, but you remember that one, yeah? And I think it was Jordan Klepper. Klepper? I forget what his name was. Who was interviewing somebody, and they're just like, yeah, that's what would happen with a woman in the White House. And he just countered that with, well, haven't pretty much all wars been started by men? Ooh.
Yep.
Smart man. Smart man. Seeker's also pointing out Turtle wouldn't have let her have more than 3. Well, it's all it would have been needed, but that's neither here nor there. Had the fight continued on to keep the seats open, oh man, that would have been interesting, to put it mildly. Keeping one seat open through after Inauguration Day, there would have been hell to pay, especially after the after more than one seat opened up. That would have easily just gone to the Supreme Court to compel Congress to do their job, basically. I'm sure. And I'm sure the court would have said, wording says you have to do this, do it. But then again, unfortunately, President Obama did not do that in his time. And he should have. He should have compelled them to do their goddamn job. We can say a lot of nice things, a lot of good things about him, but that's one thing I will forever be pissed that he never did. We'll see. And adding one more on top of everything else really quickly, Stephanie's pointed out, Cohen stood up, Michael Cohen, stood up to the bully, and Trump has dropped his claims for damages in the defamation suit, I think is what it was. Yeah, basically because the boy doesn't want to sit down for a deposition, because then he'd have to admit to all the things that he did. So I'm waiting for Cohen to file a slap lawsuit back, because I forget what it stands for, but yeah, the whole intimidation thing, using the courts for intimidation purposes. Yeah, that would be real. So, what would have happened? What would have happened if, at the federal level, voting had turned out differently? What if Congress critters of the Democratic Party had the majority in both houses? What if they had been able to sweep the boards in more state elections for governors? I believe that the Democratic Party still believes in the rule of law and of fair play, for lack of a better way of putting it. Are there extremes on the Democratic Party? Absolutely. And we need to make sure that we call out the ones that are doing wrong. But the ones who, for the vast majority of them, still go out there and try to do the right job and make sure that representation happens, to make sure that things work the way that they're supposed to according to the law. Yeah, I think there's a number of them out there that still believe that way. I'm not a I'm not affiliated Democrat. I've remained independent for, you know, just call it forever, because I don't completely agree with, at least not enough for me to be part of it. But I voted progressively. And the funny part of it is, for some reason, and Brigid, I want you to speak on this one. For some weird and bizarre reason, the more represent accurate representation happens in congressional districts and voting districts and whatnot, for some bizarre reason, the more progressive candidates tend to win. I wonder why that is.
Well, I think because they have better ideas to actually help people.
Can't
They're
imagine.
not actively trying to harm people.
That's a very good point. That's a very good point. And Seeker's got a good point. Wondering why a lot of Republicans are just giving up and not fighting and keeping their oath office. Because they're beholden to the cult. And if it's not necessarily the cult of Trump, it's the cult of power. I forgot which state it was. Uh, they drew up voting district maps that were deemed in court to be illegal, and were told to redraw the maps, and they resubmitted the same map, and the courts actually had to tell them, no, no, you're going to do the representation correctly, or, well, I don't know what the or was really, but it was just, you're going to do it right. And they Republican controlled groups finally just said, okay, I guess we got to do that. Alabama. Ticker, you okay? It looks like you got a little problem with your caps lock key there. You all right? Oh, good. I want these people voted out. I want these sycophants gone. I want these criminals prosecuted and convicted. I don't want in charge who shouldn't be entrusted with the care of a goddamned goldfish. That's what I want. I want these people out. Who's got the who's got the current look for making a presidential bid right now? And I know, Trump, but only because he's got the loudest voice. And we know for well Ron DeSantis is just, I'm sorry, he's sinking faster than his state underwater in the middle of a hurricane. So he's just not a thing. Chris Christie, I don't I don't think that he's gonna be able to carry, because the folks in the New York City area know full well what kind of a piece of shit he is. He kissed the ring and then he badmouthed the ring, but it was only when it was convenient. So, so who's really left in the collection?
Nikki Haley, and that's not saying much.
No, no, it's not. No, it's not. Who else would even try? I really, believe it or not, I really think that a couple of these GQP Congress critters, that there are a couple of them that would actually consider doing it, or at least running, because, well, of course they can. Uh, Seeker's also reminding it the Brigid fiasco screwed Christie. Yeah, yeah, it did, but that's, yeah. Throw my hat in the ring. No, no, and I don't say that from any kind of comedic value, because my take on presidency is, and I'm going to say it this way, tainted by having watched and rewatched and rewatched The West Wing. Don't get me wrong, it'd be really, really nice to be able to help make things work. But I don't I don't have the stamina or the brain power to try to understand all of what's going on. The world stage is a 4D chess match, and I have a hard enough time remembering what all the parts, what all the pieces are on a chessboard. Shit, I can't even remember which side, which side starts in a chess match, or where all the pieces are supposed to be all the time. But thank you for thinking of me so highly. Somebody needs to like know what the hell they're doing. And the problem is, and you correct me if I'm wrong on this, Bridge, I don't think any of these walking, talking symposiums of the Dunning Kruger effect got what it takes by any stretch of the imagination.
It's not a single one of them I would vote for.
Oh. I would vote for a soggy, wet paper bag before one of these morons. And I don't use that term lightly. Seeker's also mentioning Liz, perhaps.
She's not running.
No. You know, Liz Cheney, would I be tempted to vote for her? Yes. Yes, I would. But I wouldn't do it. The entirety of the Republican Party, as far as I'm concerned, and I want your take on this one also. The entirety of the Republican Party has been tainted. It is dead soil to me because the group as a whole has proven that they cannot be trusted because of what they have done and how they have operated as a unit. Because of that, anybody that has the R at the end of their title in politics these days, I simply cannot and will not trust them, no matter the score. Am I wrong to
Any of
think
the
that way?
ones, well, any of the ones that could be trusted are no longer there. or they're not running for re-election, or, you know, lost their re-election bids, whatever.
And Liz was at least a voice that made sense. I really do believe that she was trying to do right. And look at where it got her.
Yep.
I will not trust him ever again. And I know that's probably bad of me to say that because it's entirely possible for there to be some kind of weird ass sycophant in the Democratic Party. Sure, possible. The same way that it is entirely possible for pigs to fly, but then again, that's only because we have the trebuchet. Progressives have a tendency of weeding out the crazies just because of the way that they are. So I'm not looking forward to that. And to kind of go with the reason for the whole damn thing. It is, forgive me for using the term, it is incumbent here in the United States especially that we have a voter base that goes out, gets the legwork, does the research, and votes. Like we mentioned last week, one of that biggest voting block right now are the youngsters that are coming up. The new voting group who are 25 and younger. The ones who have lived through all this crap. I cannot wait to see what happens in the next voting cycle because holy hell, those exit polls are going to be wild, don't you think?
Well, Gen Z is pissed, and rightfully so.
Yep. Yep, we talked about that a lot last week. So yeah, the 25 and younger crew, holy smoke, man, they're going to come in. They are going to smoke so many elections. It's not even going to be fun. Like I said, I can't wait to see what happens. And more appropriately, and I'm going to give you a good laugh before we close this out. Um, Knowing, okay, maybe that's a wrong word for it, but postulating that the 25 and under demographic is going to come in and absolutely not just clean house, but blow it up and just eviscerate so many candidates. Do you have any idea what it's going to be like when the highlight reels for election night finally come in from Fox News?
Will they even show them?
Uh, ooh. Wow, that is a really good question. Holy shit. I didn't even think of that possibility. Haven't they traditionally done exit poll breakdowns for demographics? I think they have.
Yeah, but if they're really super unfavorable to the GOP, do you think they will?
Good point. That's a good point. Yes, they will. Yes, they will. And I'll tell you why. Because they if they spin the lower end of that, the 18 to 8, okay, yeah, the 18 to 25. If they spin it as look at what local education has been doing to the youth of America, they can get more people to dumb down the kids again in public schools. They could use that. And I can't believe that that came out of my brain as a viable plan of attack again. But like I was saying, tell me that I'm wrong. Tell me that it's not a viable possibility. Freaking do. Anyway, we'll have to see. So I know it's an off year at the moment, but wait, is this? This is an off year.
Yeah.
This is an
Yeah.
off year. So yeah, we do have elections that we have to worry about. Yes, in a year here in the States. But folks, the best that I can say is stay angry. Yeah, it's exhausting, but keep a low simmer right now. Use it to keep attentive to what's going on. See what's been going on. Compare last administration to this administration and see what the results are. Keep your head about it. Yeah, it's hard to it's hard to compare because, well, theoretically there won't be another worldwide pandemic again to shut a whole bunch of things down. But let's also realize that's not the entirety of the story. Look what's happening. Look what's going on. And if there's more good happening with one group than another, yeah, that's good reason. But make sure you're actually looking at how things are going. And then vote with the progressives because they're the ones who are getting shit done. I'm sorry, I really shouldn't say it because it's true, and that's disparaging, but it's just rude of me to point it out. You know, you got anything that you want to finish off filling time with? Because I think we've gone pretty well through most of this anyway.
No, I'm good.
You're tired too, I bet.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. Let's do that. Seeker was mentioning Rove and his whiteboard. Yeah, I can't wait for him to melt down again. Let him down. Screw him. If Gen Z, Stephanie, if Gen Z sweeps the board, Fox can whine all they want. There will be no one to implement their insanity. In hope. Seeker, education, choices, and sexuality topics have younger voters pissed. Oh, kid. And hugs for everyone. Thank you. That's very kind of you. Thank you. Don't touch me. Okay, yeah, I mean, not right now. I got a sneeze it's waiting to have happen. And it's pissing me off because it's right on the edge of happening and it doesn't want to finish one way or the other. So, fine. Piss me off, those. Call it a night. Let's just go ahead and do that. Thank you, everybody, for being with us. Really do appreciate it. Hope that you have yourselves a good night, good week ahead, and you enjoyed our perspectives and you got something to think about for the week ahead. Before I properly go ahead and claim we're done, I do need to say, happy Thanksgiving, Canada. Yeah, this weekend is Thanksgiving weekend over there in Canada. Really hoping that Dalan, especially, has a good one, and all of our cousins up over there north of the border. Have yourselves a great day. At least you don't have to worry about having Black Friday. Same way that we do. Black Monday or whatever the hell it is. Whatever the hell it is. Just have yourselves a great day. Brigid, Glad you're able to make it. Glad, very specifically, glad you're able to make it to the end of the show. Appreciate it. Um, God, I mean, we covered so many topics that would otherwise have garnered the Flaming Asshole Award and the FU from you. Um, you got anybody in that group in particular you want to single out, or you got somebody left over extra that you want to specifically single out?
Oh, just Matt Gates for being a big tool.
Oh my God, we talked about him briefly before we got started with the show. God damn, we didn't make mention of him even once. God, you and your freaking Venmo profile, you can just go fuck yourself in your five head. I'm sorry, did I say that one out loud? Sorry. God, that was really bad. What did I say about him before we got started tonight? That it's not an original one, but he absolutely looks like he should be um, starring in a reboot of the Twilight Zone from that classic episode, the little wooden ventriloquist dummy, because he looks it. But yeah, that's a whole other thing. Anyway, again, thanks. I'm glad you're able to make it. You take care of yourself, huh?
You too.
Folks, again, thanks for being with us. We hope that you have yourself a good week and you have a safe one. The weather is turning, and with the sun going down a lot earlier, please, those of you that are traveling for whatever reason, in the mornings and the evenings, please be attentive to wildlife. They are coming out. They are. To say that there is more roadkill on the roads where I am right now, holiest man, please just be careful. We'll be looking forward to seeing you again probably next week. I gotta double check. I will put out word earlier, make sure that folks know about it, and we'll kind of work from there. As I also mentioned, yes, I finally have us over there on Blue Sky. Want to follow us over there instead? If you need an invite, I will check and see if I've got one available. I will have available from the HCTV group as soon as it happens, probably in about 2 weeks. And we'll kind of work from there. Other than that, take a swing over to the website if you want to be in touch with us or to get the audio version of the podcast, holycrapthevlogcast.com. If you'd like to leave us a voicemail, of course, 859-HCTV-554, 859-4288-554, and we'll talk to you again soon. And real quick, one more time, Stephanie, glad you're able to make it. You take care of yourself, huh? So until the next time we're together, everyone, as always, I wish you the peace I no longer have. I wish you the strength that I've learned. I wish you well. And my lady, 18 plus years on, I am, of course, still in love. Not today, Fujin. I love you. I miss you. Dream of me. Till the next time we're together, everyone, as always, good night.